Hey y'all, it is Saturday, July 12th, and I don't know what time it is. I think it's around 6:19, and I'm in the car right now. I'm totally thinking about Faye because she's always posting to her stories, right? And I remember one of the first stories that I really related to her on was her talking about she was going into an event and she had social anxiety about it. And so now I'm going through that a little bit because I don't know anybody that's going to be here and I just don't know what the vibe is going to be. I know on the flyer it had some alcohol on it and also talked about BYOB, which I think is bring your own bud. And I know I mentioned already that I went to rehab when I was 19. And one of the first things they said is you can never drink or use drugs again. And then not only that, when I was young, somebody in my family shot themselves in the head high. And they had a very strong marijuana habit. And I have another couple family members who I think marijuana might be their drug of choice. And they're homeless roaming the streets. And so I guess, and then also too, I would say that when I was in high school and people would smoke weed, I know the couple times that I tried it, either I felt absolutely nothing or I felt like my car was fucking flying, and I did not like that feeling. So I just don't know what the vibe is going to be, and am I going to feel weird because I don't drink or use any drugs and I don't use any bud or anything. Not to say that other people can't do it around me. I just don't know if that's going to be like such a big thing that I'm not going to fit in, but we'll see. I think it's also ironic that this is a house at one of the pools that we looked at when we were looking at doing a floating sound bath. And so they've rented this house or this pool. We didn't actually like it, but it's all good. And it turned out that we rented a pool and I paid the money for it and everything. And then the organizers, a week before the event, not the organizers, but the pool owners, a week before the event, canceled our contract and said that it was against their spirit, their beliefs. And it was like, well, we told you from the beginning what the sound bath was and what we were going to do. And a week before you leave us in a lurch. But, God is good because I also have a pool and I just went ahead and decided to do it at my house, and everything always works in divine order. And I'm so thankful that doing it at my house now, we have many more options in terms of adding days and having more time, et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, I'm about to go into this paint event. And the other thing I want to say is that this evening, I'm also going to be going to Faye's birthday party that she's doing a karaoke event. And today, my plan had been to talk about hiding and perfectionism and coming out of my shell. And it was actually going to be a lot lighter of a subject. Talking about being highly sensitive and all that stuff. And highly sensitive also means that joy is part of the intense emotions that one can feel, but I'll have to save that for another time. But what I wanted to say also is overcoming the perfectionist tendencies and not making a mistake. I don't know if I'm going to sing tonight at karaoke, but anyway, singing is a whole nother story that I want to talk about in my musical and performing journey. The last thing I want to say is that I see in my stories, Don, if you know, you know, I see you in my stories looking at my stories. And what I wanted to say about that is that he was my boss when I was at Eastridge in the convention division. And he was one of the first people to tell me to speak up and to speak my truth and be myself. And it's ironic that I have never seen him in my stories, and now I see him in my stories. And it just reminds me that even though the flying monkey tried to come for me today, that it feels like, once again, the God confirmation of, no, sis, you're doing the right thing, and you don't have to be afraid of no job. And so it's a whole story as well about my journey at Eastridge and how I came out of my shell as a Black person at Eastridge, and how afraid I was to come out of my shell and all the work that I ended up doing there. And I feel like now I'm at a whole different phase with the the expression of my sassiness. And so I also think that it's ironic that we have a business named the Sassy Taurus, which is what Stephanie came up with as a name. And I remember one time at Eastridge, I had another boss who was a lady, a white lady. And I remember one day she called me sassy. And I felt some type of way about that because there's something about Black women and stereotypes and being too loud and being too this and too that. And I'll get into that more. But right now I'm going to go because it's hot and I want to get inside. And so right now I'm going to go inside and see what the vibe is all about for this paint and sip pool party. And if I don't like it, I'm heading over to karaoke at 8 or 9, probably 9, to do that because I like Faye. I enjoy her company, and at least I know that I'll be okay with her. So anyway, peace out.